We do basic. I don't know. Delay module. DSP. Anything else? Good. Okay, so we're gonna go to GitHub, Detour DSP demos. And that should be good, I think. You know what? I'm gonna make it look somewhat nice. Let's make it I don't know, 600 by 600. That, and we'll say dim gray. Set font. Yep. What's up, Jungle Hoodie? Yeah, I mean, it could be beginners, it could be anything really. I've done some beginner videos and streams in the past, and I can definitely answer any questions if you have like beginner questions. I was just gonna mess with the delayed DSP module, but if you have any suggestions, I can definitely talk about it, go over it. Let me get a nice background color real quick. Awesome. That'll work out good. I'm gonna mess with the background color while you do that. What's that nice color I like? Which plugin has it? I forgot. Probably the meter. No, not the meter. Where's the threading one that I did? I forgot where I put it. But if I go to one of my old projects, like I think the chorus isn't even. Oh wait, chorus update. Wait, echo box. I have no idea what this is. And it's not even using the color I want. Let me go to my GitHub real quick. Feel like are these not in order? There we go. This is what I want. Yeah, we got this nice gradient right here. We're gonna copy all this and then make it right. Okay, so do this. Set gradient fill. Can I do can I do set gradient fill and then fill all? That should work. Do you mean tuner as in like auto tune, or tuner as in like a guitar tuner type thing? Oh, a drum tuner. So kind of like a guitar tuner, but for drums. Yeah. Pitch and tuning isn't easy. It's kind of like a pitch shifter. It's probably the longest DSP file I've ever seen. That's a decent background. And then center top. Very cool. Not that we're gonna see that very much, because I'm immediately gonna go into the processor, go all the way to the bottom, and right here I'm gonna comment this out to get rid of our UI, and we'll make a generic one. And this way, every time we add an audio parameter, a generic UI will be created for us. So if I build this now, we should see nothing in a small little window. Yeah. I'm gonna start putting all the stuff we need for parameters. What are we gonna have anyway? We're gonna have eventually set delay. That's pretty much it for now. I'll do a feedback maybe later, but I want to get just the basic, just delaying the signal working. Shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, so let's go here. I am going to set up everything we need for parameters to work. So first thing we need is a true state. And I'll call it tree state. That'll hold our parameters. We need to inherit from the listener for the tree state. Processor value tree state and listener. And we need our layout and parameter change. So I'm going to go into my snippets. So this is the parameter layout right here. So it's inside of value tree state and then parameter layout. Yeah, it'll be uploaded to YouTube whenever I'm done. So we got our layout. We also need our parameter changed. Cool. So first thing we need to do is in the constructor, construct the tree state. Cool. So processor to connect to, which is this. I'm not using an undo manager, so I'm going to put null pointer. And I always put the same identifier. Put parameters. and then we say create layout. Parameter layout, yep. And because we have these two things, the parameter layout and the parameter change, we have to actually implement those. So I usually just put them right here. Oh, asterisk this. So the parameter layout is this right here. And that'll be where you add your parameters. But the class name is wrong because that's just copied and pasted from another project. So we got to put our current project right here. And then we do the same thing for parameter changed. And this method gets called anytime a parameter changes, which is really handy. So that. Let me just go ahead and do this. I'm going to call this delay. This first string is the ID, and the second string is the name. So the name that you'll see in the DAW. Let's see. We'll make this arrange. Yeah, I have a stream deck. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's what streamers use to like switch between like screens and sound effects and all kinds of things. So I have a folder on the stream deck that has snippets of code that I've copied. And what I'm doing is hitting a button that just pastes text. So I've just copied and pasted a lot of things that I don't feel like opening a project and then copying, you know. So delay and delay. The delay is in samples. So yeah, let's do 4,100 for a maximum of 1 second just to test it. And then I wouldn't be surprised if one sample gives us some kind of error, but you know, whatever. So we've got that. So we don't have to do this, but we do for the parameter to actually do something. Go tree state and then add parameter listener. And we pass it the parameter we want right here. And then in the destructor, we have to remove it so that we don't have any kind of memory leak. And we do the same thing. And then I think we're good. If we build, we should see one slider on the screen, and that's because of this parameter layout. As long as we don't have an error. Oh, we have an error. Spelled listener somehow. Cool, so we got a slider that goes from 1 to 44.1. Very cool. Okay. Okay, so now we need, I think all we really need to do is create an instance of the delay line. So that's in DSP. See what happens. Delay, is it gonna complete? Delay line, yep, okay. Guess I'll just say float, and I'll say delay module. Then we'll scroll down to prepare to play. And this is something that you need for every project if you're using the DSP modules. It is the process spec. So it's something that you pass to each module so that the module has access to the samples per block, the sample rate, and the total number of output channels. And to actually like use it, say delay module dot prepare, and we pass it that spec. And now the delay module knows our sample rate, number of channels, stuff like that. And then I think just to test for now, I'm I'm gonna just set a static setting for the delay. So delay and samples, so that we get 1 second of delay, because I just want to see if it works. Okay, that should be fine. And then let's see. I think if we create an audio block, so now we have an audio block based on the buffer, and then we can do a block loop right here. Okay, and then let me just do this real quick and then I'll explain it. So block, block, and block. All right, okay. So we're gonna loop through each channel that's in the block. Usually it's gonna be 2, but if it's 1, it'll only loop once. We're creating a temporary local variable to have access to what's in the block. And then we loop through every sample in the block so that we can do something to it. And then in this case, it's just replacing what's in the block with what's already in it. So it's not really doing anything. It's just passing audio. So yeah, we can get rid of that. And I have the delay documentation up. And it looks like pushes a single sample into 1 channel delay line. Okay, so I think we have to push sample. So we'll give it the channel that we're currently on, which is CH, and then the sample, which is data sample. So our index is sample. So index is going to be 0 to whatever the sample size is. So it might be like 128, 256, or whatever it's set to. So data is the actual data, so we give it the current index of the data that we want. So that's pushing the samples to the delay line. And I assume pops a single sample from 1 channel of the delay line. So fact, I wonder if I need to set the delay right here. I'm just gonna do it again. Then I'll say pop sample, maybe. So what I'm thinking is we push the samples to the delay line, we set what the delay is, and then we'll set the output equal to popping a sample from the delay. And I assume that this is going to be the next sample but delayed. So if it works, whenever I put it on a channel and hit play, it should take 1 second to hear it. Probably not really gonna need to debug, but I'm just gonna attach it to logic. So I'm gonna hit build. It's gonna take a minute. It's the first time it's building. I'm not positive if this is gonna work, because I was looking at the audio programmer's example in his repository, and he had like feedback and mix. So he had a mixer, that delay DSP module. It's not necessary, but the delay, he had a couple of arrays and he was like writing things from the delay and stuff like that. Wait, what's this error? Does it have to do with pop? Oh, my F and G keys, I just switched keycaps on this keyboard. The F and G seem to get stuck. Okay, let's see if Logic actually sees it. Yeah, this is it, I think. Apparently, it's also an instrument. Did I accidentally? Or then, yeah, I think. Let's look at Producer. Oh, box. Okay. Delay module. Oh, the name should be delay module. Okay, that's why. Okay, so it's actually not there. All right, so let's go to the plugin folder and move it. Let's see, where is it at? Delay module, that's it. We'll put it in the other plugin folder so Logic can see it without me having to restart my computer. So that, and Logic should see it. Sometimes I gotta open it 2 or 3 times. Yeah, let me close it and see. Okay, there it goes. It looks like it just scanned it. Delay module. Okay, here we go. Let's see if it does anything. Yep, looks like interesting. Okay. All right, so maybe I have to read this. Seems like. Wonder if let's see. Use this function and pop sample instead of process if you need to modulate the delay in real time instead of using a fixed delay value. Oh, let me try. I did use a fixed delay value. So what if I just do process? So I'll do JUCE DSP process context replacing, then give it the audio block. Is that actually going to do the delay though? Seems unlikely. That's definitely not delayed. Set delay. See if that makes a difference. It's definitely not delayed. Let's see. Let me try with a context loop instead. Let me just turn this to a variable right here. So I'm gonna make a context loop, which is the loop that is found in the DSP module. So I'll show you real quick if I go into one of the DSP modules. Widgets and gain. So this is JUCE's gain. So it's got a in block and an out block. It's got a number of samples, num channels, and you can get the in block and the out block, all that good stuff. So it's a little different from like the audio block loop, but it's pretty similar. So I'm just gonna copy it from here. Let's see. I'm gonna do this. Okay, let's do this. That. Okay, so what am I going to need? Samples in, seems right. Num channels. Let me go ahead and just make a variable for num channels so that it doesn't get mad. That's right. Yep. Let's see, what do I need? Yeah, set delays and samples, apparently. That's what the documentation says, but I mean, it's not like the documentation's never been wrong, so maybe I should try it, assuming it's samples. I mean, seconds. Look at this real quick. I've got samples in, samples out, blah, 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 looping through the samples. Yeah, let's try this. Let's do delay module dot push sample. So we'll do channel here. Then this should just be in sample, right? Yeah, samples in, and then the index of it, which is sample. And then we can try set delay here. And then we can just do samples out, sample is equal to pop, right? Delay pop sample for channel, right? Yeah. And it is getting mad at me. What happens if I do this? I mean, this isn't a big deal. I just hate seeing the warnings. Okay, this is pretty much how the audio programmer's example is set up. I'm not using the mix or the feedback. Just kind of looking at it just to see if there's anything that looks obviously different. Last delay, that important. So what is last delay? It's an array. Let me also call reset. I don't know if it's important sometimes. A lot of times you don't really need to call the reset method in these modules. But he did, so let me do that. And if this doesn't work, there's one more thing that we can try that definitely should work, because this is only missing one thing from his setup, which I don't think is necessary, but if I do 1, like assuming this is in seconds. Put it back to 44,100, and then let me do the thing that he does. There's just one additional thing. So he has a array called last delay output. So I'll put that here, let you see. So it's an array of floats, like 2 of them, right? And it's called last delay output. Then he goes into the prepare to play, and he does, yeah, fill. So std fill, last delay output, begin and end, filling them with zeros, right? And then in the process block, let me just scan through and make sure it's just this one thing. Let me do this. Check this out. So input is samples in minus last delayed. So anywhere I use data sample or samples right here, I gotta put input, right? And then the last thing is using the actual last delay output thing right here, except we are not using a delay feedback volume. Maybe I should multiply it by like 0.99. That's the only thing that's different. Yeah, me too. That's why I set it here in prepare to play, which makes sense. It does seem weird to put it because this would be running sample by sample. So let's do this and let's build and see what happens. What's up, B samples? Okay, so that sounds like it's delaying by one sample or two samples. Sounds like a very small delay. Maybe 44,100. So maybe it does need to be in the sample loop. I recognize that sound anywhere from making 1,000,000 delay lines in max MSP with one sample. Okay. It sounded like it was gonna sound the same. What about that's the only thing that's different. I mean, I'm also just assuming that this version he has on GitHub is correct because it could be that he was making changes to it and not working. There's one more thing that I don't understand why this is here, but whenever he's connecting the audio block to the buffer, in fact, let me just copy it and do it the way he did it. So instead of that, like that. So buffer get subset channel block, which is strange. I mean, that's the only thing that's different now. It's so weird because I know for a fact that's like a 1 or 2 sample delay. So what if I make this? Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna test this build, but I think I might see something. Okay, that's better. But I can still tell it's a really small delay. So check this out. In set delay. So delay value. So okay, he's using whatever his value is, which is from 0.01 to 1,000, which sounds like milliseconds. So let's do that. So I'm gonna say 500 milliseconds. So that, and then divided by 1,000, multiplied by the sample rate. So maybe our thought on what the actual timing of the delay was incorrect. And if this doesn't work, we can just move this out into the process block like he had it. Yeah, sure thing, Jungle. Check this out. Okay. So I'm trying to use the built-in JUCE DSP module, the built-in delay. So what I've done is I've made one parameter. So this is like basic boilerplate stuff for audio parameters and stuff to be useful. We're not actually using this, but it's creating a slider for us. I've got the DSP module. I've got it prepared and reset and all that stuff. I'm trying to use the module here with a context loop. So I have an audio block that's based on the buffer. And then we're taking the context, which is a JUCE DSP thing, taking that from the audio block and then looping through each channel and all the samples in that channel. And I'm trying to get the delay line to work. So I've got an input. I've got the delay line pushing samples to the delay line. And then I've got the output being set to whatever sample gets popped out. And then, oh yeah, this array, this is the last delay output. We're setting that to the output of our samples. I'm not 100% sure why this is necessary. It seems like an extra step, but that's the way the audio programmer has his setup. So I want to try it and just see if it would work the same way. Did I hit build? Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so that sounds, it's a bigger delay. That sounds more like, it sounds more than one sample. It sounds like 10 or 20 samples or something. So let me take that out of there and put it where he puts it, which is right here. And then right here, we could say get sample rate. And then this is the last thing that's different. Now it's set up exactly how he has it set up. So if it doesn't work, it might just be that he made some changes to it and didn't commit it. So let's see. So this is supposed to be the delay time in milliseconds based on what he's doing. And then dividing it by 1,000 and then multiplying it by the sample rate, which makes sense. So what I'm expecting is a 1/2 second delay. And yeah, so putting it in the process block is apparently really inefficient because they can't even run it. So yeah, I don't know. What's different? All right, well, there's one more thing we could try. There's an extra array called delay value. Okay, do we have to do anything in prepare to play? No. Okay, so let me set up my parameter to be the same as his. So I'm gonna do from 0.01 to 1,000. Okay, and then if the parameter changes, we are gonna do this. We're gonna fill the array with, apparently we're gonna fill the array with some delay values. So yeah, new value is whatever's coming from the slider whenever we move it. And one last thing I would have to do is set delay amount. Delay amount. Delay value. What is delay value? So he has after input something called delay amount, but what's delay value? I don't even know what this is. Oh, it's that other array. Okay, yeah. Okay. And then instead of all this, since we put that in the parameter change, we can just use that delay amount right here. So it's casting it to a float, so I'll do that. Delay amount. Okay, and now it's set up exactly like his. I'm gonna get rid of that. That. So this should start at 0.01. Or actually, let's have it start at 500. But it's not going to be initialized. So let's do this. We can copy this and put it in the prepare method. And instead of new value, we'll give it tree state, get raw parameter value, and it should be called delay. Oops. Load, and that'll give us whatever the current value of this is, which should be this number on initialization, so that there's no issue. Okay, so now if this doesn't work, I have no idea. Okay, build succeeded. Bro, I don't know. It does seem weird to me setting that in the sample loop. Like, I feel like I should put that here. Set delay amount. Oh yeah. Wait, let's see. Delay value channel. Actually, what if we just move it to... Oh, we can't move it because delay amount is in here in the sample loop. Yeah, now I don't know what's wrong. Now it's set up exactly the way he has it set up. See if I still get the crash or the audio crash if I comment that last part out. Yeah. Pretty sure it's from that. What if we go before and we say delay, and then I'll give it this logic right here. Oh wait, I'll just move it. I'll move it into the channel loop. And then I'll do this. I wonder if the delay has to be less than the block size. Okay, that sounds like it's delayed by a tiny bit. Well, actually, hold on. Let me just do this. Let me just pass in sample rate. I'm wondering if I just have to, if I'm just wrong about the input for set delay. Like, what if we multiply it by 1,000? And the other thing is that it's going back into itself, so it's not just delaying the signal; it's mixing them together somehow. Yeah, I think must just not be correct. Yeah, it's definitely not delayed. Man, I don't know. Man, I don't know. Oh, wait. I think you have to use a delay line interpolation type. Okay, check this out. In fact, I'm gonna go back and redo everything. So like that. Yeah, okay, so check this out. So in the constructor, we're passing effect delay samples, which let me fix that real quick. I want to see what this is. We go here, go up to, okay, maximum delay in seconds. Okay, so that's what we're passing to the constructor, which is effect delay samples, which, he put 192,000, which makes sense because that's the highest sample rate that you can do. Okay. So that, let's give this juice. Okay. So now what I've noticed is, go back. So all these places that I used delay, I have to use this one instead, the linear. So I'm not exactly sure what this other delay line is for, because I don't see him using it. Although he is preparing it, so let's go up here. Okay, so it's actually and that. And let's also prepare the other one. Play module dot prepare delay module dot reset. What's weird is I don't see him using the delay line that's called delay module. This one, I don't see him using it at all. He's using linear for everything. So I'm scanning the process block real quick just to see if I missed anything, because not using that one delay doesn't really make sense. Oh, that's what he did. So linear, very interesting. So let's just see what that does. And yeah, I'm gonna set it to the sample rate stretch, so that should be 1 second. I don't know, let's just see if that does anything. Okay, that did it. Hold on, let me turn the beat off. So let's go to 120 so that I know for a fact. Yep, that's a 1 second delay. But there's a feedback, so I don't want feedback. I want to just delay it. I'll keep that in there. This is the part that's allowing it to feedback. I'm gonna keep that in there for future reference, or at least I think that's what. Yeah, so let's build just that and see if we get just a delay. Oh, I see. So, okay. Okay, so it's gonna play out for a second, I guess, after you're done. So let me look at this real quick. Input is equal. Yeah, let's get rid of this part too. I think we also need to do that. Okay. I still heard some extra. Okay, yeah, so it plays out for a second after you stop because that's what's left in the delay line. So I guess that makes sense. Is there a big difference between that and including this? Like if I did that? What? Oh. Yeah, okay. So that's yeah, that's the feedback part. Okay. So yeah, take that out. So if we take that stuff out, now we have just a delay without like a feedback and stuff. And we're also not mixing, but that part's easy. Using the juice mixer module is pretty easy. Okay, so I think I figured out, I think we were doing it correctly and our assumptions were correct. We just have to use this, the JUCE DSP delay line, which apparently has two inputs, float and delay line interpolation type linear. And then you give it the maximum delay size. So yeah, I think we just don't need this right here, the delay module. Actually, I'll call this delay module. We'll go up here where it says linear. Yep, that's right. Okay, and then we'll say delay module. Like that. And then we can change what we want our delay to be. So if we get rid of this, we're still setting the delay value. Yeah, that should be right. Okay, because this is the same as what's in the parameter changed. So okay, let's build that and see if it works the way we think it should. Okay, let's open it up and see if putting the slider at 1,000 in fact delays it by 1 second. Okay, so we have to call set delay. I just don't know what the point of this is, because I feel like we can just do this. So delay module, set delay. So we'll say new value, which is that, right? So 1,000 milliseconds should be 1 second. No, we gotta divide it. Yeah, we gotta divide it by 1,000, just like that. So let's do that. We'll put it here, and instead of new value, we'll use that. And then I think that should work. I don't really see the point in using this array, but maybe we'll look into it later. Let's just see if it works. Yeah, it works. Cool. So the basic functionality works. Obviously, we heard the crazy pops and clicks. I wonder if just using the smooth value will take care of that. I doubt it, because I mean, we could just try. Did he have a smooth value in there? For a feedback volume, but not for delay. Oh, I'm gonna try it. Okay. So let's do let's Streamlabs back up here. Okay, so let's do juice smooth value float. And I'll just call it delay time. And just leave it like that, delay time. And I will say delay time dot reset, give it the sample rate, and good ramp length. Actually, let's do more. Let's do 100 milliseconds. And we will say delay time set target value will be this. And then this will just be delay time dot get next value. Easy enough. Let's take that same thing right here, put it up here, and then I'll just replace new value. I'll replace the tree state with new value. Cool. I want to get rid of those errors that are right here just because Xcode is slow. Yep, there it goes. Okay. And it built successfully. So let's open logic and see if that smooth value makes a difference. Wait. It's not delayed anymore. What? Delay time. Oh. Delay module. Set delay time. get next value. And that must also be the case for prepare to play, right? Oh no, okay, that should be right. Surprised it didn't work when it initialized. Oh, it's not working anymore. That's really weird. Using a smooth value breaks it for some reason. Yeah, weird. So let's just undo all that. Oh. That is fine. Yep, super weird. Back. Make sure it's still working. Perfect. Okay, there we go. Got the delay line working. Pretty cool. I'm gonna get rid of this. Delete it. Yep, that. And then I'll leave these comments in. That's gonna be for if you want feedback. So let me save that and build it. And that is pretty much it. Yeah, cool. All right, so I guess one task would be to try to delay like one like audio block or one buffer as opposed to another. But yeah, you can just kind of build upon this and do it on your own. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm glad it worked. Feel free to download the demo and use it. So yeah, I will be back Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, so I will see you then. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the Discord channels. Come say hi. That's it. So yeah, see ya.